discussing earlier, that we'll have to wait on the and see the social media reaction. Not just on social media, even in that press conference, the reaction has come. Just recap for us what you're hearing from Congress.
Congress and social media also very much the ones who are very, very close to Rahul Gandhi, whether it's Srinivas, whether it's going to be Manikam,
whether it's going to be Manikam Tagore, and all of them are a part of the Rahul Gandhi's team, and that's, I think, explains the rift or a drift within the Congress party. Well, Jairam Ramesh's reaction was more studied. He said, we have seen a copy of the letter. It's most unfortunate, but the Congress party is more busy at this point of time with the Halla Bol and the Bharat Jodo Yatra. But the timing couldn't have been worse, because first of all, you're talking about the Bharat Jodo Yatra, something which I guess the Congress party also could do with. 7th September is the big showcasing, 3,500 kilometers, Rahul Gandhi flagging it off from Kanyakumari, and the entire idea is that a party which has often been accused of doing armchair politics actually hits the roads. So the plan was you go from state to state and you also involve all the leaders, whether it's the juniors, whether it's the seniors. So when they ended in Jammu and Kashmir, Ghulam Nabi Azad is not going to be a part of it, and who knows that in a couple of months that's going to lead to the end of the yatra. Will there be more to follow suit? We've seen so many leaders who have left, Jiten Prasad, RPN Singh, Jyotiradittya Scindia, the list is long, even Hemanta Biswa Sarma. I think Hemanta Biswa Sarma's words on Piddi, the fact that Rahul Gandhi was more busy feeding biscuits to his pet dog rather than listening to him, is almost as scathing as what Ghulam Nabi Azad has written. And it is not just any other young leader who can be dismissed of. He's someone who knows the Congress party, who's worked through its weaknesses when it was out of power and of course when it was in power. And this entire thread of that letter, that 5-page long, is actually centered on Rahul Gandhi's style of politics. I think now the challenges get more and more for Rahul Gandhi, really, Arunima, because the next big test, of course, will be the Gujarat and Himachal and then the Karnataka elections. If the Congress party loses in these state elections, once again the focus will come back on Rahul Gandhi. Second, very quickly, if you look at those promos of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, it features Rahul Gandhi. So which means that he has all the power minus the responsibility. And that's exactly what Ghulam Nabi Azad and G23 members consistently talk about. No organizational changes, no clarity on leadership, just a small coterie or a cabal, as they call it, running the entire party.
Yeah, Jairam Ramesh and Ajay Maken also, not really young blood. They've been with the party for some time now. They've served in the earlier generations of the Congress as well. Their press conference, Pallavi, your takeaway from it?
Well, I mean, one was watching them and it was actually supposed to be a big fanfare kind of a press conference to take on the Aam Aadmi Party. But as I said, very nuanced. Both of them not very young, but both of them, barring Ajay Maken, Jairam Ramesh was never seen as a grassroots leader. Ghulam Nabi Azad certainly was, because he contested Lok Sabha elections. He's been a chief minister. But people like Jairam Ramesh, Ajay Maken are the ones who managed to work both the ways.
Right.
They have a good working equation with both Sonia.
Sorry, I had to cut you short there, Pallavi, because we have some breaking news coming in. Congress leaders in Jammu are holding an emergency meeting after the resignation of Ghulam Nabi Azad. Ghulam Nabi Azad, he was the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. He's from Doda, and all these Congress leaders in Jammu owe their allegiance to him, perhaps. Tejinder is saying, Sodhi with me on the phone line. Tejinder, it's a huge crisis for the Congress in Jammu?
Yes, indeed, for entire Jammu and Kashmir, Congress, this is a big crisis for Congress party. As we right now, Arunima, as we are speaking, I am getting the input that several district presidents of the Congress party here in Jammu and Kashmir have also tendered their resignation in support of Ghulam Nabi Azad. So this is the breaking piece of information that I just got, that some of the district presidents of the Congress party here in Jammu and Kashmir have come in open support of Ghulam Nabi Azad, and they have submitted their resignation. Right now, a Congress emergency meeting of the senior leaders of the Congress party here in Jammu and Kashmir is going on at the party headquarters in the Shahidi Chowk area of Jammu, wherein they are discussing the situation, the emergency situation which has arisen within the party after the resignation of one of their stalwart leader, Ghulam Nabi Azad, who tendered his resignation to the Congress President Sonia Gandhi after serving the party for almost 45 long years. Azad, who had been the chief minister, had also served as the chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir for a brief period of 3 years after the PDP pulled out the support from the then coalition government following the Amarnath land row agitation, is one of the tallest leader in Jammu and Kashmir, and several senior leaders who went to meet Ghulam Nabi Azad. We also got to speak to GM Saruri, who is also known as one of the close confidant of Ghulam Nabi Azad. He says that Azad is preparing to launch his own party after leaving Congress. Yes.
Tejinder, if you hold on, let me bring in Pallavi also. Pallavi, like Tejinder is recapping for us, there is an emergency meeting going on in Jammu. At least in Jammu and Kashmir, it's an implosion for the Congress party after Azad stepped down?
You know, I mean, Arunima, this is a state or rather a union territory. Whenever the elections take place, the Congress party has been completely wiped out as of now. And here we are talking about a man who's been a chief minister of the Jammu and Kashmir. So he understands, he comes from that state. His services can be useful, could have been useful for the Congress party. But there has been absolute mayhem, which both Tejinder and I have been reporting over the last few days. When the steering committee chairmanship, he resigns. He resigns by saying that, you know, I was never ever consulted. Congress party says, of course you were consulted. There were many other, not just him, but there were many other members of the committee who also started resigning one after another. The person who's been appointed is someone who's not considered to be close to Ghulam Nabi Azad, who Ghulam Nabi Azad says I was not even talked about. And you know, why just talk about Jammu and Kashmir? In state after state is the same situation. In states where the Congress party still has a semblance of organization or where they're in power, you know, we've been seeing what has been happening. You just leave decisions hanging.
All right. Pallavi, Tejinder, thank you so much for joining us. I'm handing it over to Mara Shakil, Manikam.